All right. All right. Okay, it's not ESPN's 30 for 30. However, it is my 98 for 98. The 98 seasons in the history of the New York Football Giants. I'm going to try to get it done in 98 days. That's probably not going to happen. However, I will get it done by the beginning of the new season, which starts September 10th against those Dallas Cowboys. And we're hitting a milestone season here, the 90th season in the history of the New York Giants. The 2014 season, just the only milestone in this season, unfortunately, was the 90th. I mean, it certainly had some very nice things to it. Obviously, one of them was we drafted some guy by the name of Odell Beckham Jr. Maybe you heard of him, right? There's wasn't much. I mean, what a unbelievable. We'll go over some of the stats in just a moment here, but what a fantastic. He missed the first 4 games. I mean, just his stats were just absolutely incredible. Just, an absolute grand slam pick by Jerry Reese. But once again, as so often with Jerry Reese, his draft picks just did not play long with the New York Giants. A lot would play a couple seasons and they were gone. Some played 3 seasons, they were gone. 4, they were gone. I mean, you can't build a team. I just don't. I don't get it. And it's all he was doing. He was drafting guys, and they never came back around basically for another second contract. I mean, we signed Odell Beckham, and then I don't know what it was, a couple days, weeks or so later, we traded him. I mean, it was just you can't. I can't even talk. It's just year in and year out. With Jerry Reed, I had no idea, absolutely no idea, no clue what he's thinking about as far as trying to build a roster. I mean, or build a team. Building a long-term sustainable team that wins. And you have to build through the draft. And it's just simply amazing year in, year out. It just, I mean, if we were lucky, maybe one of the guys in the draft would, maybe make it for a second contract, but that was few and far between. And the cupboard just kept getting more and more bare. I mean, losing guys and just not being able to replace them. And one of the problems this season was because the cupboard kept getting bare and bare just because his drafts just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. This season, 2014, would be injuries, the big I word. And when you got the injury word and you have like no depth, and that's pretty much what happened here. Let's see. They finished this. It was a 6-10, which obviously was worse than the season before. It was 7-9 out of 6-10. They had a big losing streak in the middle of the season, which doomed them. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in just a second. So let's see. Actually, the preseason started off not too bad. Not too bad. All right, the preseason. Actually, they had 5 preseason games because we played in the Hall of Fame game against, oddly enough, the Buffalo Bills. All right. And the Giants would actually win all 5 of their preseason games, all 5 of them. Now, that happened one time before, and they won, I think, all 6 of them back in the 70s, and then they had a horrible regular season. But here, on, what was it? Sunday, August 3rd, at Fawcett Stadium in Canton, Ohio, the Giants beat the Buffalo Bills 17-13. Then on Saturday, August 9th, against the Pittsburgh Steelers at MetLife Stadium, the Giants would beat the Steelers 20-16. The following week, on Saturday, August 16th, against the Indianapolis Colts in Lucas Oil Stadium, the Giants would win 27-26. The following week, on Friday, August 22nd, the Giants were the away team against the Jets, but the Giants would prevail 35-24. And then, as they usually did back then, their final preseason game was against the New England Patriots. So on Thursday, August 28th, the Giants at home at MetLife Stadium would win 16-13. So the Giants actually were 5-0 in preseason. Things were looking good. Not too shabby. So what does Wikipedia have to say about the 2014 New York Giants? The 2014 New York Giants season was the franchise's 90th season in the National Football League. Now, remember, the Giants, the 90th season for the Giants, but it was the 95th season for the NFL. NFL started in 1920. Giants started in 1925. The Giants are 5 years younger, right, than the NFL is. So the 90th season. Woo. Man, I've done 90. I've done 90 of these so far. Wow. Got 8 more to go. And it was the 5th season playing their home games at MetLife Stadium, and the 11th under head coach Tom Coughlin. The team failed to improve on their 7-9 mark from 2013, finishing 6-10, which would be their first double-digit loss season since 2004, when they were 6-10, which was Eli's first season. The commemorative to commemorate their 90th anniversary, the Giants wore a special patch on their jerseys. In addition, the team wore white pants instead of gray pants for 2 home games versus the Indianapolis Colts in Week 9 on Monday Night Football, which they lost, and 2 weeks later against the San Francisco 49ers. With their loss to the Jaguars, which was, we'll talk about, which was a tough pill to swallow. That was a tough loss. With their loss to the Jaguars on November 30th, 2014, the Giants sealed their second consecutive losing season and suffered back-to-back losing seasons for the first time since 2003-2004. 2003, they were 4-12. 2004, they were 6-10. So here they were 7-9 in 2013, then they went to 6-10 in 2014. The Giants' 2014 season was plagued by a 7-game losing streak right in the middle of the season, their longest losing streak since 2004. 2004, they lost 8 games in a row. 2004, Eli's first season, in the beginning of the season, Kurt Warner, the future Hall of Fame quarterback himself, was, commanding the Giants ship. The Giants were actually 5-2. Then they went on their 8-game losing streak. This was 2004, and they were 5-10. Then they won their final game of the season against the Cowboys to finish 6-10. But anyway, the Giants' 2014 season was plagued by a 7-game losing streak in the middle of the season, their longest since 2004, and a league-leading injuries. League-leading 22 players on the injury reserve list, including star receiver Victor Cruz by the end of the season. And that pretty much ended his career. That, unfortunately, sadly. I mean, because you had Victor Cruz and you had Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, my goodness, could you imagine what a tandem? I mean, Victor Cruz had been around since 2010, but 2010 he hardly played at all because he only played in 3 games and he got injured, hamstring, missed the whole rest of the season. So basically, he started playing for the most part in 2011. So this was Victor Cruz's, for the most part, his 4th season. And this would have been Odell Beckham Jr.'s rookie season. And between the 2 of them, could you imagine the 2 of them? They'd stayed healthy. But in Game 6 against the Eagles in the end zone, he went up for a pass, came back down, and got injured. And season was over. And pretty much he missed all of 2014. Then he came back in 2015. Did something to his calf, missed the whole 2015 season, came back in 2016, played his final season with the Giants, and in 2017, I think he went to the Bears. So, but unfortunately, the injury that he suffered in 2014 against the Eagles basically kind of pretty much ended his career. Shame. He played one more season with the Giants, but he wasn't the same wide receiver. It's a shame, absolute shame. That's happened a lot of the Giants wide receivers. Absolute shame. So the injuries, injured reserve. Now some of these guys I don't even remember, but let's see. Okay, well here we go. On the injured guys who either ended the season on injured reserve or who were on injured reserve somewhere along the line during the season. Prince Amukamara, Robert Ayers, John Beeson. They all three ended the season on injured reserve. James Brewer ended the season on injured reserve. Michael Cox, Victor Cruz, Marcus Harris. I said some of these guys I don't even remember. Peyton Hillis. This would be his final season with the Giants. Trindon Holiday. Gerald Jernigan, wide receiver. Matthias Kiwanuka. Wow. Troy Kropig. I don't even remember who that was, but he spent the whole season on injured reserve. Terrell Manning, I guess no relationship to Eli, but Mario Manningham spent some time on injured reserve. Trumaine McBride. Then we have Jeff Schwartz, offensive lineman. Ended his season on injured reserve. He was injured like basically the whole season. Adam Snyder finished his season on injured reserve. Cooper Taylor, he spent the whole season on injured reserve. Walter Thurman. Jaquan Williams spent the final 2 games of the season on injured reserve. And David Wilson, sadly, he was on injured reserve as well, too. Sadly. So, I mean, just, yeah. Horrible season for the Giants. Injuries will just nothing will derail a season faster than injuries, and that's what it did here for the New York Giants. Now I said in the first round, the Giants, drafted some guy by the name of Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, he missed. I did this in one of my videos a couple of nights ago. He missed the first 4 games. He had 91 receptions in his rookie season. So basically on that rate, if he played the whole 16 games in the season, he would have had 121 receptions. He would have had about 1,750 yards, and he would have had 16 touchdowns in his rookie season. 121 receptions he would have had. He was on pace for. Holy cow, in his rookie season. Wow. As I said, I mean, just another one of the things, it just goes to show you, I mean, how just it was horrible with the Giants. They just did not re-sign their guys. I mean, they in 2018, they signed Odell Beckham. He got a nice long contract and stuff. And Dave Gettleman was asked a question: "You going to trade Odell Beckham?" And I think he answered something like, "We didn't sign him to trade him." This was in 2018. This is when it's not now, 2014, but when Gettleman had him. We didn't sign him to trade him. So they signed him to a nice long contract and everything like that. And just like a week or 2 or so later, whatever it was, they traded him to the Browns. But what a phenomenal season Odell had. But once again, you draft somebody incredible, right? And he played, 5 seasons with the Giants, and he was gone. Gone. All right. So in their second round pick, the Giants took Weston Richburg. Weston Richburg. I think it is. Same thing with him. He played center for the Giants. Same thing with him. He played 1, 2, 3. He played 4 seasons for the Giants, and they didn't re-sign him. Then he played 2 more seasons with San Francisco, and then his career was over. So, but I mean, once again, a decent player, and just I don't know if you want to say maybe never developed them or whatever, but he played 4 seasons, then he was gone. Once again, for the 3,000th time, I said, you can't build a team when everybody, you never give anybody a second contract. You can't build a team that way. And I have no idea what Jerry Reese is thinking. But then we drafted in the 3rd round, Jay Bromley, a defensive tackle from Syracuse. He played 4 seasons for the Giants, and he played 1 final season with the Saints. But once again, and actually he's your 3rd round pick, and he started 4 games for the Giants in 3 years. Your 3rd round pick starts 4 games for you. And actually, and that was in 2015. 2014, 16, and 17, he didn't start in any games. This is your 3rd round pick. Once again, he played 4 seasons for the Giants, then he was gone. And I think the Giants had gone like all the way back until like 2005. They had a long streak of 3rd rounders who never got second contracts. You had to go all the way back almost like to Justin Tuck, who got like a second contract with the Giants. I mean, just absolutely horrible. The Giants took Andre Williams, a running back, in the 4th round from Boston College. He played 2 seasons with the Giants. Then he played 1 season with the Chargers. And the next was with the Chargers. He played, the 2 seasons with the Chargers. One was the San Diego Chargers. Then the next one was the Los Angeles Chargers. So he played 2 seasons with the Giants, next 2 seasons with the Chargers, and his career was over. But once again, your 4th round pick played 2 seasons for you. That was it. Then in the 5th round, the Giants had 2 picks in the 5th round. And why did they have 2 picks in the 5th round? I guess one was a compensatory pick. The Giants took, let's see here, Nat Burr from San Diego State, a defensive back. He played 4 seasons in the NFL. And let's see here. 3 of them with the Giants. His final season was with Pittsburgh in 2018. So he played 4 seasons. Then his career was over with. But once again, 3 seasons with the Giants. That was it. So then the Giants, in the 5th round, they had a compensatory pick awarded to the Giants for loss of the free agents Martellus Bennett, Chase Blackburn, Dominic Hickson, and O.C. Umenyiora. So they got a 5th round selection for that. And with the 5th round selection, they took Devin Kennard, defensive end or outside linebacker. So, and edge rusher, outside linebacker, whatever, from USC. He actually surprisingly had a very nice career. Unfortunately, once again, he played 4 seasons for the Giants. They never re-signed him, and he was on his merry way. Then he wound up playing 2 seasons for Detroit. Then like 2.5 seasons for Arizona, and his final season in 2022, he played with Baltimore. Now, as far as I know, it doesn't seem like he has a team. I'm not sure if he's on a team, if he's still a free agent. That I don't know. But last season, he played with Arizona and Baltimore. So, but, as I said, Giants draft guys, even somebody has a lengthy career. 2014, he's still possibly playing. But, 4 seasons with the Giants, they never re-sign him, and he goes on his merry way. Can't build a team that way. Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Then in the final draft pick was Bennett Jackson, a defensive back from Notre Dame. Now, let's see here. I am not sure what happened to him. Should have looked. Maybe I don't know. He got drafted in 2014. Here, he played 2 seasons. One was 2019, and the other one was 2020. Let me look this up on. Let's see if I can find him. Because, as I said, he got drafted in 2014. Notre Dame. Let's see if they have anything here. He was drafted by the Giants in the 6th round of the 2014 draft. He signed his rookie contract with the Giants on May 19th, 2014. He was cut on August 30th, 2014 as part of a cut down to 53 players, but was assigned to the practice squad the next day. In the beginning of 2015 NFL season, the Giants announced that Jackson will be moving from cornerback to safety. On August 22nd, 2015, Jackson suffered a torn ACL in the Giants' second preseason game and missed the rest of the season. On September 1st, 2015, he was placed on injured reserve by the Giants. On August 30th, 2016, Jackson was released by the Giants. On January 3rd, 2018, Jackson signed a future reserve contract with the Baltimore Ravens. He was placed on injured reserve on August 31st, 2018. He was released on September 6, 2018. He was re-signed to the practice squad on November 27, 2018. He signed a reserve future contract with the Ravens on January 8, 2019. On August 31st, 2019, Jackson was waived by the Ravens. So he got drafted in 2014, and here we are up to 2019, and he still had not played a down in regular season for a team. On September 1st, 2019, Jackson was claimed off waivers by the Jets. He was waived on September 16, 2019, and re-signed to the practice squad. Then his second stint with the Ravens. On October 15, 2019, Jackson was signed by the Baltimore Ravens off the Jets practice squad. He was waived on December 2nd, 2019. Then his second stint with the Jets. On December 3rd, 2019, Jackson was claimed off waivers by the Jets. On March 25th, 2020, Jackson was re-signed by the Jets. He was released on September 5th, 2020, and signed to the practice squad the next day. He was promoted to the active roster on November 3rd, 2020. He was placed on injury reserve on December 12th, 2020. Jackson re-signed with the Jets again on April 8th, 2021. He was waived on August 17th, 2021. Jackson was re-signed on August 20th, 2021, and he was released again on August 30th, 2021. Holy cow. Oh, my goodness. Wow. I mean, let's see, 2019. So he played after all of that, he played in it looks like a grand total of 10 games. 6 for the Jets and 4 for the Ravens. Wow. All of that. Waived, brought back up, released, waived, cut, this, that, the other thing. Injuries, this, that, and other thing. And since 2014, from 2014 to 2020, all he mattered, he played in 10 games. But you got to give the guy a lot of credit. He persevered. You know what I mean? Just because he got cut or waived or whatever, didn't deter him. The guy was focused. You got to give the guy a lot of credit for that. Got to give him a lot of credit for that. All right, so then in the 7th round, the Giants did not have a pick. They traded it to the Panthers for John Beeson. So, which was not bad. John Beeson, that was not for a 7th rounder. That was not bad. So that was the Giants draft. Once again, they had didn't have some. It wasn't a super spectacular draft, but they had some guys. I mean, said Devin Kennard, Odell Beckham Jr., Weston Richburg. He played 6 seasons, but once again, like none of these guys actually. Odell got a second contract, but he never played more than 5 seasons with the Giants. And as I said, once again, you can't build a team getting guys playing 2, 3, 4 seasons for you and never re-signing them. I mean, it's just unbelievable how you can just go almost draft after draft after draft after draft, drafting guys and never resigning any of them. It's just simply amazing. I mean, maybe a guy here or a guy there, but it's just so few and far between. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, there's just no wonder the Giants were just going downhill. I mean, especially if they had injuries. They just killed their season. Absolutely killed their season. So that was the Giants draft. All right. So now I mean, the biggest problem, obviously was the injuries, without question. Their defense was not very good. They gave up 25 points a game, which was 22nd in the league. They scored 23.8 points per game, which was 13th in the league. Their running game was not very good at all. What did they average? Their running game, 3.6 yards a carry. Really bad. Andre Williams led the team with 721 rushing yards. Rashad Jennings, he had 639 rushing yards. Peyton Hillis had 115 before he got injured and the season was over with. So I mean, they had 1,600 rushing yards for the whole season. They averaged 100 yards a game, but their defense gave up 2,162 rushing yards, 4.9 yards a carry. They basically gave up 5 yards a carry. Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Eli Manning was in there. He played all 16 games. Even Ryan Nassib got in there for 4 games. Ryan Nassib was 4 out of 5 on the season. Even Odell Beckham Jr. got to throw a pass. He was 0 for 1. But Eli Manning threw 601 passes in the season. Holy cow. That's a lot of passes. A lot of passes. He completed 63% of them. He had 4,410 yards. He had 30 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, which for him, only 14 is very, very good. As I said, I mean, the Giants, even Ruben Randall, this would be his final good season with the Giants. He had 71 receptions. Larry Donnell, tight end, 63 receptions. Preston Parker had 36 receptions. Victor Cruz had 23. He got injured in the 6th game. So basically he played like a little over 5 games and he had 23 receptions. So basically he averaged like 4 receptions, a little, so a game. So, I mean, at that pace, he would have had 60 to 70 receptions on the season. So if he had like, say, 60 or 70, Ruben Randall at 71, Odell Beckham Jr. only played in 12 games, had 91, and a nice little thing going there. As I said, Larry Donnell, their tight end, had 63. So that, Daniel Fells had 16 receptions. So I mean, they had a good passing attack. Their passing attack was good. Their rushing attack was not good. Their Andre Williams and Rashad Jennings. Their offensive line was not super spectacular. But their passing game was very, very good. They certainly put up some points. Their kicker, Josh Brown, very good season, 24 out of 26. He made 92.3% of his field goals. He made all 44 extra point tries. Steve Weatherford, once again, another fantastic season, averaged 45.5 yards per punt. Only had 6 touchbacks, and he dropped 25 of the punts inside of the 20-yard line. I mean, just another nice season for Steve Weatherford. The Giants, let's see, we got JPP led the team with 12.5 sacks. Very good. The team overall had 47 sacks. Not bad. And the offensive line only gave up 30 sacks. So that was good. They had a nice season. Nice season for the offensive line. It's just the injuries. They'll get you. The Giants had no running game and no run defense. And that'll get you. And as I said, I mean, the injuries and this this 7-game losing streak is really did them in. So the first game this season, it seemed as always, I mean, every now and then they get lucky and they can actually wind up beating the Detroit Lions. But this would not be one of those seasons. They opened up the season on Monday night. The New York Giants, they played in Detroit and they lost 35-14. The following week, hosted the Arizona Cardinals, and they lose 25-14. Now they started the season off 0-2. They would win the next 3 games. All right, so things were starting to look on the up and up. So the third game of the season, they played the Houston Texans at home. They won 30-17. The following week, they went off on the Washington Redskins on the road, no less. And they would beat the Redskins 45-14. So now the Giants are 2-2. The following week at home, they beat the Atlanta Falcons 30-20. So now the Giants are 3-2. Not looking too bad. But then, unfortunately, they would go from 3-2 to 3-9. And they had a couple tough losses in there. Let me tell you what. The following week, they on the road against the Eagles. This was the game where they lost. It was Sunday Night Football. This was the game where they lost Victor Cruz. Yeah, it was just a shame. He went up for a pass in the end zone, came down, and he was injured. His season was over. They lost 27-0 on Sunday Night Football to the Eagles in Philadelphia. The following week, they would travel to Dallas to play the Cowboys, and they would lose 31-21. So now the Giants are 3-4. You were kind of hoping the following week was a bye week for them, so you kind of hoping maybe they could regroup a little bit, maybe get, especially since they were injured, banged up, whatever, maybe get some guys back and, maybe that would help them out, but it didn't. They lost on Monday night. That was the night they had the white pants on against the Indianapolis Colts. So they lost on Monday night to the Colts at home, 40-24. Once again, I mean, the defense just giving up all kinds of points. The following week in Seattle, they lost 38-17 to the Seahawks. Once again, giving up a ton of points. Now the Giants are 3-6. Then the Giants, they lost. The San Francisco 49ers came to town, and the Giants lost a tough one. They lost 16-10. And the 49ers weren't too bad. We're not too bad at all. So, I mean, let's see here. The Giants, yeah. I mean, the Giants were winning 7-0, but then the 49ers scored 16 straight points, and Josh Brown kicked a field goal in the third quarter to make it 16-10, and nobody scored in the fourth quarter. So the defense did well, just the offense just couldn't get much of anything going against the 49ers. So they lost 16-10. So now the Giants are 3-7. Now the next 2 games are like heartbreakers, especially the second one. They hosted the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday, November 23rd. It must have been Sunday Night Football. Cowboys came to town, but once again, usually winds up happening a lot of times on a Sunday Night Football. You get some good contests, especially it's between the Giants and the Cowboys. And the Giants took a 28-24 lead with Adrian Robinson caught a 1-yard touchdown pass from Eli Manning with 3 minutes to go in the game. But unfortunately, with the defense not having a stellar season, they let the Cowboys go down the field. So, but basically, the Cowboys had to score a touchdown. That's what they did. With 1 minute and 1 second left to go, Dez Bryant caught a 13-yard touchdown reception from Tony Romo, and the Cowboys won 31-28. Giants got the ball back and had a chance to maybe at least try to get a field goal or so to tie the game up, maybe send it in overtime, but they couldn't get it done, and they lost 31-28 at home to the Cowboys. Tough loss. Then the following week, this one was they were in Jacksonville to play the Jaguars, right, on Sunday, November 30th. This one was a tough one. This one, yeah. I mean, in the middle of a brutal losing season and lost season and a losing streak and all that, this one just kind of kicked you right in the seat of the pants. Giants were up 21-0 in the second quarter. 21-0. And they lost the football game. Josh Scobie kicked a 28-yard field goal with 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go. So just before the half. So the Giants were up 21-3 at half. But Jaguars scored. This one. Yeah, they had a defensive. Of course, the memories. They had 2 defensive fumble recoveries for touchdowns. They had, which helped win the game for him. J.T. Thomas recovered a fumble for the Jaguars in the end zone to give him a touchdown and make it 21-10. Marcus Lee had a 30-yard touchdown reception from Blake Bortles to make it 21-16. Then came the next defensive fumble for a touchdown. Aaron Colvin had a 41-yard defensive fumble return to make it 22-21. Oh, my goodness. Then the Giants actually finally scored. They finally scored. It's basically for the first time in basically 2 quarters. From the end of the second quarter, they finally went to the end of the fourth quarter, and they scored again. They kicked a 33-yard field goal from Josh Brown to make it 24-22 with 3 minutes and 26 seconds left. So the Giants took the lead, 24-22. Unfortunately, this happened so many times throughout the years. The other team got the ball and walked down the field, and Josh Scobie kicked a 43-yard field goal with 28 seconds left to go, and the Jaguars won 25-24. And I said that they had 2 touchdowns were given to them by the Giants. They had 2 fumble recoveries that they returned for touchdown. Actually, one they landed on the end zone, in the end zone for a touchdown. The other one returned back for a touchdown. So, 2 of their touchdowns were on fumble recoveries. So this one was a tough one. This was a real tough one. Let me tell you what. All right. So basically, then the Giants were 3-9. So basically, thankfully, the next week they snapped the streak. Thankfully, but I mean, basically, their season was pretty much over with. After losing to a tough one to the Jaguars, they went to Tennessee and they played the Titans and they won 36-7 somehow. They had offense, they had defense, they had pretty much everything. So now the Giants are 4-9. The following week they would play the Redskins at home and they would win 24-13. Cool. All right. Then the following week they would travel to St. Louis to play the Rams and they would win 37-27. So now they got a little winning streak going. So now the Giants are 6-9. But fortunately, all they had left to play for the final week of the season was pride. They played against the Philadelphia Eagles. They were home, and they lost 34-26. So it was just a overall, tough season. Brutal season. Injuries. I said there's a couple bright spots, especially Odell Beckham Jr. showed what he can do. Showed out what a phenomenal talent he was, and the Giants would have him, for a few years, and then they would wind up trading him away. But it was it just showed how phenomenal he was, and that was a fantastic pick by Jerry Reese. But I mean, the 7-game losing streak in the middle of the season did him in. All the injuries did him in. It is what it is, But I mean, I said this is one of the biggest problems is that why the Giants just started going downhill was even when they did draft players, usually most of them they never re-signed them to second contracts, and you just can't conduct a football team that way. And I'm not sure how Jerry Reese thought he could, but. And in the long run, they paid for it because, there's one losing season after the other. 2013, they were 7-9. 2014, they were 6-10. 2015, they were 6-10. 2016, actually, they went because they went out and spent some money. Things just happened to fall right for them. Okay. They spent a lot of money in free agency. Things fell right, and they were 11-5, but that didn't last. 2017, they fell down. They were what was it? They were 3-13. 3-13. 2018, 5-11. 2019, 4-12. 2020, 6-10. 2021, 4-13. So I mean, they were, they had one winning season. Things just in 2016, things really fell. Everything fell right for the Giants in 2016. They spent a lot of money in free agency. They brought in the Jackrabbit, right? The Snacks Harrison, Olivier Vernon. They went out and spent some money on especially on the defense. The defense got better. They won a bunch of close, tight games. Finished 11-5. Of course, they got smoked in the playoffs, but it was a very, very good season. But other than that, from 2013 to 2021, nothing but losing seasons. One losing season after the other. And once again, 2014 was no exception. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you don't know if the Giants didn't have all those injuries, how they would have fared. But, you do know that obviously the loss of Victor Cruz really, really hurt him. Really hurt him. Because the running game was not very good at all. All right, so that pretty much wraps that up. What happened in the 2014 NFL season here? Well, the 2014 NFL season was the 95th season in the history of the National Football League and the 49th of the Super Bowl era. The season began on Thursday, September 4th, 2014, with the annual kickoff game featuring the defending Super Bowl champions, Seattle Seahawks, hosting the Green Bay Packers, which resulted with the Seahawks winning. The season concluded with the Super Bowl, the league's championship game, on Sunday, February 1st, 2015, at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, with the New England Patriots defeating the Seahawks in one of the closest games in Super Bowl history. Yeah, one of the biggest, stupidest calls ever in Super Bowl history. And we'll go over that in just a few minutes here. It's just a stupid call by Pete Carroll. Absolute moron. What a moron. Sometimes you can outcoach yourself. But anyway, in the AFC, the Patriots won the AFC East with a record of 12-4. AFC North, they had 3 teams go to the playoffs. Steelers won with a record of 11-5. The Bengals with a record of 10-5-1 were one wild card. The Ravens with a record of 10-6 with the other wild card. The Indianapolis Colts won the AFC South with a record of 11-5, and the Broncos with a record of 12-4 won the AFC West. So in the playoffs, the Colts beat the Bengals 26-10, and the Ravens beat the Steelers 30-17. So now in the divisional round, the Colts beat the Broncos 24-13, and the New England Patriots beat the Baltimore Ravens 35-31. So now in the championship game, New England killed the Colts 45-7, sending, obviously, the Patriots to the Super Bowl. So in the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys won with a record of 12-4. The Eagles were good, had a record of 10-6, but did not make the playoffs. They missed the playoffs. The Packers in the NFC North won with a record of 12-4. The Lions with a record of 11-5 were one of the wild card teams. As I said, the Eagles were 10-6. They didn't get in because both wild card teams had a record of 11-5. In the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers with a record of 7-8-1 won the division. In the NFC West, the Seahawks with a record of 12-4 got in, and the Arizona Cardinals with a record of 11-5 with the other wild card team. All right. So in our playoffs here, Dallas beat Detroit 24-20, and Carolina beat the Cardinals 27-16. So now in the divisional round, the Packers beat Dallas 26-21. This was that was at Lambeau Field. That was the Des Bryant ball that popped out. He had it, caught it. When it took a step or two, fell to the ground, whatever it was, and the ball popped out, and they said it was an incomplete pass down around the Packers' 2-yard line. I think it was a bogus call, but it is what it is. So the Packers knocked off the Cowboys 26-21. And then in the other game, Seattle beat Carolina 31-17. So now in the championship game, Seattle beat Green Bay 28-22 in overtime. to set up the championship game between the Super Bowl between Seattle and New England. Now, this was just one of the biggest, stupidest blunders, idiotic blunders of all time here. So let's go over to, let's see here. Man, they got a lot on this game. All right, here we go. So in the second quarter, there's no scoring in the first quarter. The second quarter, Brandon LaFell, 11-yard touchdown reception from Tom Brady, put New England up 7-0. Then Marshawn Lynch, a 3-yard touchdown run for the Seahawks, tied the score at 7-7. Then with 31 seconds to go, Rob Gronkowski caught a 22-yard touchdown reception from Tom Brady to make it 14-7. But somehow, with 31 seconds, Rob Gronkowski, 31 seconds left in the half, Rob Gronkowski caught a touchdown pass. Somehow, 29 seconds later, 5 plays, they went 80 yards in 5 plays in 29 seconds. Chris Matthews, 11-yard touchdown reception from Russell Wilson. It was 14-14 going into the half. Very exciting. Third quarter, Stephen Hauschka kicked a 27-yard field goal for Seattle. So now Seattle's got the lead, 17-14. Doug Baldwin had a 3-yard touchdown reception from Russell Wilson. The extra point made it 24-14 Seattle going into the fourth quarter. So Seattle was up by 10 points going into the fourth quarter. And they lost. What do we got? Danny Amendola, 4-yard touchdown reception from Brady, made it 24-21 with 7:55 to go. Then with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to go, Julian Edelman, 3-yard touchdown reception from Tom Brady, put the Patriots up 28-24. So let's see here. Got to have – it's got to be here somewhere. Second says second half. All right. Touchback the ball. Okay. So there was a touchback. So Seattle got the ball. It was a touchback. And so he started at their own 20. Wilson started off the Seahawks drive with the 31-yard completion to Lynch. Then after 2 incompletions, he picked up another first down with an 11-yard pass to Lockett. The following play gave Seattle an opportunity to win the game. Wilson threw a deep pass down the right sideline to Kearse, who was covered by rookie reserve cornerback Malcolm Butler. Both players dove through the air for the ball, and Butler managed to deflect it with one hand, but the pass fell right into the hands of Kearse, who tipped it to himself and caught the ball while he was lying on his back. Yeah, I remember that one. Butler managed to recognize the catch and recover in time to shove Kearse out of bounds as he got up, preventing a Seattle touchdown, which wound up being huge. But the play netted 33 yards and gave Seattle a first down at the Patriots' 5-yard line with 1 minute, 5 seconds left to go in regulation. Announcer Chris Collinsworth compared the play to 2 other acrobatic receptions by Patriots opponents that had defeated them in the prior Super Bowls. David Tyree helmet catch and Mario Manningham's sideline catch. We all remember them as Giant fans. All right, on the next play, Marshawn Lynch ran the ball for 4 yards to the Patriots' 1-yard line, where he was brought down by Dante Hightower. Since New England did not call a timeout, Seattle was able to run the clock down to 26 seconds before taking the snap for the next play. The Seattle called a pass play in which Kearse would run a pick on the right side of the field to draw defensive backs away from Lockett, as Lockett ran a slant to the middle, but Brandon Browner blocked Kearse at the line of scrimmage, preventing him from reaching Butler. Lockett appeared to be uncovered at the 1-yard line when Wilson threw him the ball, but before the ball arrived, Butler correctly read the play and rushed into position to make the interception. The turnover after an unsportsmanlike conduct call for the excessive celebration gave New England the ball on their own 1-yard line with 20 seconds remaining in the game. Let's see. So, and basically, they were pretty much able to run the clock out and went 28-24. It was just, but I mean, the thing is that, on the play like before that, you had Marshawn Lynch got 4 yards. He got from the 5 down to the 1. I mean, he's your best player, Marshawn Lynch. Give him the ball. I mean, everybody was expecting it. Yeah, I mean, now I could see where Pete Carroll was kind of trying to cross people up and this, that, and the other thing. I am going through toxic relationship. My always given my yesterday. She put my hand in my hot water. Okay, I'm sorry. I do apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But everybody was trying to, everybody was thinking that I guess the whole building that it's like, hey, right? We're going to give the ball. Everybody's thinking we're going to give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. So I guess Pete Carroll's like, hey, let's cross him up. Let's throw the ball. And just, I mean, the chances of it getting intercepted and all that stuff is not very high. Especially you got a good quarterback, Russell Wilson, throwing the ball and this, that, and the other thing. So I guess trying to cross up, the Patriots and thinking that they're going to run the ball. I guess that's what he had in his mind, I guess, unfortunately. But, it wound up, it wound up backfiring. And, it cost them. It cost them dearly. I mean, chances are, you have, Marshawn Lynch back there, the beast. You give him a couple cracks at it, he probably would have scored a touchdown, and the Seattle Seahawks would have won another Super Bowl. They won 2013 when they killed was it the Broncos? Killed the Broncos at MetLife Stadium, and here they are in 2014 going back to the Super Bowl once again, and he could have won back-to-back Super Bowls, right? But I mean, the Patriots lost a couple tough ones to the Giants, but the Patriots also wound up getting, their comeback against the Falcons, this one right here. I mean, when they certainly could have ran the ball with Marshawn Lynch, and he probably would have scored, especially if they had a couple of chances of giving him the ball a couple of times. It would have been very difficult to stop that guy a couple of times in a row running the ball, especially if the Super Bowl win is on the line. Chances are he was going to find a way to get into the end zone. But I guess Pete Carroll made the call for a pass from the 1-yard line. It got intercepted. The Patriots picked it off, got the ball at the 1, ran the clock out, won the Super Bowl. Tough way to lose a Super Bowl, especially, as I said, they gave the ball to Marshawn Lynch. Chances are he probably would have scored, but it is what it is. So that pretty much wraps up the 2014 season for the Giants, right? 2015 would not be any better. As I said, we're from 2013 to 2021. Those years we had one winning season, and 2015 would not be one of them. I mean, just the drafts, we're not re-signing our drafts. We, even when we do get good players, we don't re-sign them. Guys play a couple of years for the Giants, we let them go. We never re-sign anybody. You can't build a team that way, and that's what Jerry Reese, for some godly reason, was trying to do. Draft guys, let them play a few seasons, and just let them all go. Don't know how you can sustain a team that way, and the cupboard was bare, and especially when you had injuries like the Giants had in 2014, is just a recipe for disaster, and that's what happened to the Giants in 2014. So wraps up 2014. I'll be back again tomorrow night with the 2015 season, which just happened to be the 91st season in the history of the New York Giants. I'll see you then.